Okay, let's dive into some truly fascinating developments today. Imagine a world where your apps know exactly what you want, almost like they read your mind, but they never actually know who you are. Your identity stays private.
Right.
Or picture AI holding a totally natural conversation, maybe for 90 minutes, with multiple voices involved, like indistinguishable from people talking.
Hmm.
And then shift gears completely. Think about predicting the sun's, well, its violent storms hours ahead of time, protecting the whole planet.
Huge implications there.
Yeah, and of course, you can't talk AI without the latest drama, right? Tech giants, new companies, big lawsuits.
Always something happening.
Exactly. These aren't just, future ideas. These are big moves happening right now in AI.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your curiosity, add our analysis, look at some really interesting sources, and figure out what actually matters. I'm your guide today, and I'm here to help connect those dots, offer a bit of context on what these breakthroughs really mean for all of us. We've got a lot to cover, really bridging that gap between research and real-world impact.
So our mission is pretty straightforward. Cut through the hype, pull out the key insights from all these AI announcements, and show you exactly why this stuff matters. From your phone apps to, well, planetary safety. You're going to get the important stuff, maybe even a few surprises along the way.
Absolutely. Today, we're hitting four main things. First, this new Google and MIT algorithm, changing the game for online privacy and spotting trends. Second, Microsoft's open source move with multi-speaker AI voices. That's Vibe Voice.
Okay.
Third, the latest from Elon Musk, a new company, plus that big lawsuit against Apple and OpenAI.
Right, the drama.
And finally, how IBM and NASA are using AI to watch the sun, basically protecting us from space weather. It's quite a snapshot of how fast things are moving.
Okay, let's kick off with something that affects, well, pretty much everyone online. Think about YouTube recommendations, right? Or TikTok trends, or how Spotify just knows your next favorite song.
Uncanny sometimes.
Totally. These platforms are crunching just insane amounts of data, figuring out what we're all into collectively. But here's the tricky part, the paradox our sources point out. How do they know the trends without knowing what you specifically did?
That's the core challenge.
Like, if only one person searched for purple polka dot llamas, that has to stay secret. But if thousands did, okay, maybe that's a trend. It's a real balancing act.
Yeah, and it's a problem they've been wrestling with for years. The old way, well, it worked, sort of, but it was super inefficient. Basically, every item got a score. They'd add some random noise for privacy and set this really high bar, a threshold.
Okay.
But the really popular things, common words, viral videos, they just soared over that threshold. They sucked up all the privacy budget, you could say.
Ah, so they hogged the attention.
Exactly. Like the loudest people in a room drowning everyone else out.
Right.
So rare topics, niche interests, maybe the very beginning of a new trend.
They got buried.
Completely buried.
Yeah.
Just couldn't make enough noise to get over that high privacy bar, even if there are actually important signals.
Right, which brings us to this Google and MIT breakthrough. It's called MADI-MAX Adaptive Degree, and there's an even better version, MAD2R. Think of it like a really smart traffic controller for data.
Good analogy.
So if one data lane is totally jammed because an item is already super popular, way over its privacy limit, MAD doesn't just let it pile up. It cleverly trims the extra weight off that popular item, and it reroutes that saved capacity, that privacy budget, to the lanes that weren't getting used much.
So the quieter signals get a boost.
Exactly. Suddenly those niche signals, those early trend whispers, they actually get a chance. We get a much richer, more detailed picture of what's really going on.
And the way it works is, well, it's quite elegant, actually. Everything starts off equal. Then the system goes through, trims that excess weight from the really common stuff, reroutes it, balances things out, adds the required randomness, Gaussian bands for privacy, and then gives you the results. MAD2R even does it in two steps. First, a rough picture. Then it uses that noisy data to refine things, to focus in better.
And the results, you said they were wild.
They really are. They tested it on 9 huge data sets: Reddit, IMDb, Twitter, Wikipedia, Amazon, even Common Crawl. That one's got nearly 1 trillion entries.
Wow.
And on 7 out of those 9, MAD2R just blew the old methods away.
Right.
On Common Crawl, it pulled out 16.6 million unique items from 1.8 billion. That sounds small, right?
Yeah.
Less than 1%.
Mine's tiny.
But, and this is the kicker, those few items still covered 99.9% of all the users and 97% of all the interactions between users and items.
No way. So it found the core story.
It found the entire story, essentially using just a fraction of the items. all without breaking individual privacy.
That is incredible. So, okay, beyond just getting faster recommendations, what's the real takeaway for someone listening?
Well, it means platforms can spot trends much faster, much more accurately, without needing to know your specific clicks.
So better discovery, new stuff surfaces more easily.
Exactly. It picks up on subtle patterns, rare phrases, things that were previously invisible. So you get better recommendations, find cool niche content, and the platforms just get smarter overall, while your data stays hidden in the crowd. It's a win-win.
That feels like a genuinely positive step for privacy and utility.
It really does. It addresses that core tension quite effectively.
Okay, so from making data smarter and safer, let's shift to making AI sound more human, even conversational. Next up is Microsoft's new open source model, Vibe Voice 1.5B. And this isn't just about, short audio clips. The big deal here, the real leap, is it can generate up to 90 minutes of continuous speech and manage up to 4 different voices in the same audio stream.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
4 voices. That's basically simulating a full conversation.
Right, like a whole podcast episode, potentially.
And the capabilities go beyond just talking. Our sources mentioned it's really versatile. It can do cross-lingual stuff like you give it an English prompt, it speaks back in Chinese.
Whoa!
And get this, it can even generate singing.
Singing? Seriously, like carry a tune?
Apparently so. Imagine an AI voice hitting the notes, the phrasing, it's been a long day without. That level of nuance, that flexibility, plus the long duration, it's a massive step.
Okay, how does it actually do that? Let's pick under the hood a bit. There's a big language model, right? The brain.
Right. Quinn 2.51.5b. That's 1.5 billion parameters. It handles the flow, the context, who speaks when in a conversation.
But voice is more complex than text.
Much more. So they added 2 special tokenizers. Think of them as ways to break down the audio. One's acoustic. It compresses the raw sound massively, like 3,200 times, but keeps the important bits.
Like squashing a video file down?
Kind of, yeah. Then there's a semantic tokenizer that focuses more on the meaning, the content, the rhythm of the speech.
Okay, acoustics and meaning.
And then the final piece is this diffusion decoder head. That's what adds back all the fine details, makes it sound natural, not robotic. It can even control emotion.
Wow, so it puts the vibe in Vibe Voice.
Exactly. And what's really cool here is not just what it can do, but that it's accessible. They trained it cleverly using this context-length curriculum. Started short, scaled up, like teaching a kid longer sentences over time.
Makes sense. So it learned long conversations naturally.
Seems so. And it's completely open source. MIT license, you can grab it on Hugging Face or GitHub right now.
Open source is huge, so developers can just play with it.
Yep. And testers are saying you can run it, generate these multi-speaker conversations with about 7 gigs of GPU memory.
Which means?
Means even a decent gaming card like an RTX 3060 can handle it. Not just giant servers.
That's amazing, so it's not locked away.
Not at all. Big picture. This is one of the very first open tools that can produce this kind of long, expressive, multi-speaker audio for free. That's massive for creators, developers, anyone experimenting with synthetic voice.
Okay, so thinking about possibilities. Podcasts, audiobooks, sure. But what else? Like interactive assistants that sound like multiple real people.
Absolutely. Or think about accessibility, turning text into natural-sounding multi-person dialogues.
Or dynamic game characters.
Totally. Or even new forms of personalized content. This really brings that future of dynamic, multi-voice AI interaction much closer and puts the tools in more hands.
Okay, from those pretty cool tech advances, let's pivot. Time for some industry drama and big personalities. Elon Musk. He's always in the mix, isn't he?
Seems that way.
So while Google and Microsoft are doing their thing, Musk announces a new company, Macrohard.
Macrohard. Yep. Heard about that. Definitely a poke at Microsoft.
A deliberate one, yeah. He announced it on X, said it will be purely an AI software company. And apparently, his chatbot Grok explained the idea. Macrohard would build specialized AI agents.
Agents for what?
Things like coding, making images, automating workflows. And these agents would all work together, powered by Grok.
So like an AI software company run by AI?
That seems to be the vision. Yeah, AI building and running the show.
It's ambitious, no doubt. But you have to wonder about focus, right? I mean, he's got Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, X itself, political stuff, legal battles.
That's a lot.
It's a ton. Our sources mentioned Tesla's board just okayed that massive stock award, like $29 billion, partly to keep him incentivized because his attention is so split.
Right, keeping him focused on Tesla.
So Macrohard is another big thing on an already very full plate. Interesting to see how it plays out.
And speaking of plates full of legal battles, Musk is also suing Apple and OpenAI.
Ah, yes, the antitrust suit.
Exactly. X and XAI filed this swooping lawsuit in Texas federal court. They're claiming Apple and OpenAI have this illegal partnership to basically kill AI competition.
And the argument centers on ChatGPT and iOS.
Yeah, the core claim is that by integrating ChatGPT so deeply, Apple effectively locks out other chatbots. Makes it impossible for rivals like Musk's Grok to compete fairly. They want billions in damages and the court to break up this illegal arrangement, as they call it.
Saying Apple controls access via the App Store charts?
Pretty much. Huge visibility advantage for ChatGPT, they argue. Harms innovation, limits consumer choice, blocks rivals. That's the gist.
Well, OpenAI's response was pretty blunt. Basically, they called it Musk's ongoing harassment. Apple hasn't said anything yet, publicly.
Predictable response from OpenAI, maybe.
Perhaps. But this whole thing fits into a bigger pattern, right? Apple's already under the microscope for antitrust stuff. They had that huge fight with Epic Games over the App Store.
Right, the Fortnite battle.
And the Department of Justice is suing them now, accusing them of monopolizing smartphones. Some of Musk's points actually echo the DOJ's case, like Apple blocking super apps.
So it's tapping into existing concerns.
Definitely. Now, Apple did have an exec testify earlier that their OpenAI deal isn't exclusive, that they can integrate others, but Musk clearly isn't buying that or thinks the reality is different.
So what happens now?
Well, it looks like a massive legal fight is brewing. It's going to be fought in court, but also, in the court of public opinion. And the outcome. It could have really big consequences for how AI develops and who gets to compete.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just tech headlines. This gives you, the listener, a front row seat to these high-stakes battles over power, market control, and ultimately what choices you'll have as AI becomes part of everything. Okay, let's shift one last time. From corporate battles to cosmic ones. Protecting Earth from the sun.
A slightly different scale of problem.
It's just slightly. We're talking about things like solar flares, coronal mass ejections, basically huge eruptions from the sun. These things can mess with satellites, power grids, GPS, maybe even the internet backbone. They're a genuine threat.
A significant space weather hazard. Yeah. Predicting them is really important.
Yeah.
And NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO, has been watching the sun constantly for 15 years, just collecting mountains of data.
An unbelievable amount of data, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. But figuring out what it all means, finding the patterns quickly enough to predict something, that's been tough, slow work.
Until now.
Until Suriya. This is an AI model built by IBM and NASA together. They trained it on 9 years of that SDO data. And what it does is create a kind of digital twin of the sun.
A digital twin, so it simulates the sun.
It predicts what the sun will look like an hour into the future, based on the current data. It's the first AI foundation model aimed specifically at forecasting the sun's activity.
Okay, how effective is it? How does it work?
The sources say it uses this specialized AI architecture. A long-short vision transformer with spectral gating. Fancy name.
Sounds complex.
Basically means it's really good at handling those enormous images from SDO, like 4,000 by 4,000 pixels, super efficiently. It even learns things directly from the data, like the sun's weird rotation patterns, without being explicitly told.
And the results? Does it give us more warning time?
Significantly more. Current systems give maybe an hour's warning for a big flare. Suriya pushes that out to 2 hours.
Double the warning time. That's huge.
And improves the accuracy by 16% too. Plus, it's not just flares. They've also released data for predicting solar wind speed, UV radiation, magnetic activity.
All the things that can cause problems for GPS or satellite.
Exactly. It's a much broader prediction capability.
Yeah.
And again, similar to the Microsoft Voice model, accessibility is key here. Suriya is also open source.
Available on Hugging Face, GitHub, places like that.
Yep, and IBM's own platform. And they designed it so non-AI experts can actually use it.
So space agencies, power grid operators, satellite companies, they could potentially use this.
That's the idea, connecting it to the bigger picture. This isn't just cool science. It could be vital for protecting space missions, astronauts, and critical infrastructure right here on Earth that we all depend on.
That 2-hour warning is a big jump. But are there still limitations? I mean, the sun's pretty chaotic, right? Are we close to fully predicting it?
That's a really good point. And no, not fully. Suriya is a massive improvement. But the sun is incredibly complex. It predicts the appearance, the state of the sun's atmosphere really well. But the underlying physics driving these eruptions, especially predicting the exact intensity or the precise direction the CME might travel, still very challenging.
So it tells us something is likely coming, but maybe not exactly how bad or where it's aimed.
It gives us a much better probability and lead time, but yeah, there's still uncertainty. It's a powerful tool, a huge leap, but the sun definitely still holds secrets. We're still learning.
Still, it's an amazing example of AI tackling these enormous global scale problems, protecting infrastructure, ensuring safety. It really shows AI isn't just about, better ads or chatbots.
Absolutely. It's about building resilience against fundamental
Oh,
threats.
wow. Okay, what a journey today. We went from tiny data points protecting your privacy online
With MAD2R.
through AI learning to hold realistic, multi-voice conversations
My voice.
into the whole messy world of tech giants, lawsuits, and
To
Macrohard.
competitive arena
And finally, all the way out to predicting solar storms to protect the entire planet.
with Suriya.
It's just incredible how fast AI is moving and on so many different fronts at once.
It really is. And if you connect the dots, these things that seem so different, privacy algorithms, voice synthesis, market battles,
Yeah.
space weather, they're all part of this same accelerating wave. AI isn't just theory anymore. It's actively enhancing our daily lives, but also becoming crucial for safeguarding our global systems. It's tangible, and it's happening now.
So thinking ahead, what happens when these different threads start to weave together? Like, what if you combine that hyper-private data analysis, the MAD2R stuff, with something like Vibe Voice's multi-speaker capability?
Interesting thought.
Could that lead to entirely new kinds of personalized interactive content? Or maybe virtual companions that understand trends but protect privacy implicitly?
Or hyper-realistic training simulations, educational tools.
Yeah. Or think about Suriya's solar predictions.
Right.
How might that kind of environmental AI feed into developing more resilient AI systems in space, protecting those assets better?
Right, making space-based AI more robust against the very environment it operates in.
It just raises this really important question as all this tech evolves and converges. What part will you, the listener, play in understanding it, maybe shaping it, and navigating this landscape that's changing so incredibly fast? Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more clued in, maybe a lot more curious about this amazing world of AI. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive into what matters most.